Good evening. Welcome to a tutorial on how to access all of the statistical software you will be needing this semester. Now, if you go to your Blackboard course, you will see down the left-hand side under links. Let me make this bigger for you so you can see it more easily. Okay, so now if we scroll down, you will see links. Here's our Zoom link for the class. Here's the link to your Wiley Plus course. This is StatKey and Datasets link. Okay, if you click there, you will get to this website for the locks, all 5 of them. Right, we are actually using the 2nd edition book. So anytime you are doing something within the book and it references StatKey, it will always be using the data for the 2nd edition. And I'll show you how you know which data is for the 2nd edition. Now, first, what I'd like to show you is how you get into StatKey. And you can come here and we will go through all of these various options that we're going to be working with. Tonight, I'm just going to show you the one quantitative variable capabilities that you have with this. But that's how you get to StatKey. If you go back in your browser, you will find that you can also go to Datasets. And we're going to be using StatKey for some things, but I also want to introduce you to Minitab because it is often used in industry. It's one of the more common statistical software platforms that is used in industry. So we want to introduce you to at least one of them. We've chosen Minitab. Now, in order to get the proper data sets for this edition, as you can see, it defaults to the 3rd edition. We have to go down here to the 2nd edition. And now you have your Minitab data here. Now, the problem with this is that unless you have downloaded Minitab to your personal computer, if you try to download this and then access Minitab through the remote apps, it's not going to work. So let me get out of this and I'll show you how we overcome that problem. And to do that, I have to leave Blackboard. I have to go back to my home page, and I have put remote apps up here. You may find it instead down here in your Launchpad. It's still down here in mine, but I've made it one of my favorites. So go to remote apps. You'll have to sign in, log on. It's just your regular password for signing into my college. And once you are here, I would like for you to click on, let me close one of these other tabs so it's not running in the background. Click on Chrome. And it will take it a little bit. And once you are here, and you can see I already have a shortcut here for StatKey. Let me just get rid of that and show you how I got it there in the first place. Okay, what I'd like for you to do is go to Lock 5 Stat. Okay, and this is what we want. We want StatKey for Lock 5. And there it is. Now, the other way we can do this is to go back. Let's go to the lock5stat.com homepage, because that gives us both StatKey and the data sets. So this is actually where we want to go to whenever we're coming into our StatKey and data sets. So I'm going to highlight that link. I want to copy it and open another tab. Add that as a shortcut. I'm just going to say Lock 5 Stats because it gets me to StatKey and to the data sets. And paste the URL there. Done. And when you access this Google from the remote apps. You have already signed in and identified yourself. These shortcuts will be your shortcuts whenever you access Google through that through those remote apps. Okay, so I'm already there. I'm going to go back here and let's take a look at stat key. Okay, we're going to be looking at one quantitative variable. And we will go through this some more during class. Let's just pick out one of these though. Okay, here's what I wanted to show you. Here we have hot dogs 3E 2019. That is the 3rd edition data. We want to use the 2nd edition data. So when we click that, here's some information about hot dogs. And we have 20s up here. We have numbers down here. This is one of the things I do not like about StatKey because it doesn't give you very much information here. Okay, we have some years, 59, and if I remember right through going through some of these are the numbers of hot dogs eaten by winning competitors in hot dog eating contests. So 69 was the record during 2015. Okay, the sample size was 14. There were 14 hot dog eating competitions. The mean number of hot dogs eaten was 58.643. The median was 60. So we'll be working with this some more as we go through some things. Let me go back though, because I want to show you how you get into StatKey and into Minitab. All right, so this is my Google Chrome browser right here. Okay, notice the difference. I have my browser set for green tabs. Normally, this is gray. You might want to set your tabs on your own computer to some other color so you can tell the difference. But I need to get this Google Chrome out of the way for the moment because I need to access Minitab and open it up. So here's Minitab 18. And you can also put a star beside Minitab in Google, and they will show up on your favorites page here. So you can either access it through all or through favorites. Here's Minitab, so I'm going to open that up. And it's blank, and I'm going to show you some great things you can do with Minitab. But right now, I need to get back to that Chrome browser. So, oops. Grab the right edge here, make that smaller, and I have this browser in the way. This is the browser I started in that I accessed the remote apps through, so I'm going to minimize that. Oh, I've got a Word document up there too, and I have just a lot of things open. I don't recommend this, having that many things open when you're trying to work with these two. Now, if you're on a Windows computer, you can hit the Windows icon button and the left arrow, and it won't work with remote apps in Zoom. Okay. Anyways, I now have this Google browser open, and I have my Minitab open, both of which I opened through remote apps. That is the key. Okay, so I'm going to go to Datasets. And I'm going to get the 2nd edition Datasets. And I'm going to scroll down through here. Let's see what's an interesting one. How about NBA Players 2015? So it may be a little bit hard to read on your screen, but that's the, let me make this bigger so you can read it better. Okay. I'll make that full screen for the moment. Okay, so NBA Players 2015, and I'm looking for the MTW file because that is a Minitab file. And I click that, and it downloads it here through this Google browser. So now when I click that after it's finished downloading, it will open in Minitab. Okay. Now, if I look at my personal downloads file on this computer, it's not there. That's not what I downloaded. Those are things I downloaded earlier. This is not downloading to your computer. That's why you can't download from the remote apps and still get it up to Minitab. Okay, so access the data file through the remote apps, Chrome browser, and access Minitab through the remote apps, and then it will automatically load for you. Okay, so here we are. All sorts of players, all sorts of stats here. Let's see what we have. Field goals. You can look at all these different things. Okay, blocks, turnovers, lots of information about the NBA here. So let's just take a look at some things which we're interested in. Here are our basic stats. Now to work with this, I'm going to Stat, Basic Statistics, and then moving carefully over to Display Descriptive Statistics and click it. And here are all the variables. Just as a review, each row here is the case of an NBA player in 2015. And all of the columns are the various variables. So I'm going to choose blocks. So I'm going to choose the column that has a record of the blocks that each player made during the game. And now I'm going to choose, I don't need to separate it any further, so just looking at one variable and what happens with that. I click the statistics button and it gave me all of these options. Okay. And I can't get this to zoom in, but I'm going to unclick everything except for the mean and the median, because I'd like to compare the two for blocks. So I have now only mean and median checked. And I click OK and OK. And there I have it. For 2015, the mean number of blocks by these NBA players was 38.60, and the median was 23.00. The mean was substantially higher. So what does that mean for the distribution? The mean is higher than the median by 15.6 blocks. That's a lot of blocks for a game. So I'm thinking this thing is skewed right. Let's take another look at those stats. So if we go to Stat, Basic Statistics, Display Descriptive Statistics, I have blocks still chosen. I'm going to go ahead and click the standard deviation to go with that mean, which will give me a measure of spread. And I'm going to click the minimum, the first quartile, the median is already clicked, the third quartile, and the maximum. And let's see what that gives us. Click OK and click OK again. Okay. So our mean is 38.6. Our standard deviation is 39.82. The standard deviation, one standard deviation, is even bigger, larger than the mean. So yeah, this is skewed. Okay, our minimum is 0. One of these players got no blocks. I don't know who that was. 25%, the first 25% of the data ends at 14. So a fourth of the players got between 0 and 14 blocks in that season. And this is per season, not per game. And between the 25th percentile and the 50th percentile, or the first quartile and the median, it goes up to 23 blocks in the season, which is a difference of what? 9. Okay, so 14 and 9. And then from the median and the third quartile, or between the 50th percentile and the 75th percentile, different ways to name the same points in the data. We have what? 25.25? Okay, so that's a bigger difference. And then between the third quartile and the maximum, we have, whoa, over 150 difference there. This is definitely skewed right. And that 200 is Anthony Davis of the Pelicans. So there you have a look at how you can access statistical data through Minitab or through your stat key. Either way you do it, they're both accessible and should be accessible to everyone, whether you're on a Windows device or a Mac or something else, as long as you go to Remote Apps and then go to Chrome and work from there. So we'll go over this again in class, but now you'll have this video as a reference. Let me know if you have any questions. See you in class.